welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm Ian Carlos Crawford.
And I'm Dayspring.
And I'm Brett White, and we're here to talk about Superman 2025.
Yay! First reactions, I'll go first. I fucking love this movie. The amount of nice it made me feel was very surprising. I try not to talk about it too much. But this won't surprise anyone. I was never a Snyder fan. I didn't like those movies. I think Man of Steel was maybe the only Snyder one that kind of worked, but then it fell apart completely by the end. But so I went into this being because I'm more, and I think the three of us are more Marvel gals. But I loved it so much. I was teary-eyed through most of it, and I thought David, is it Corn Sweat? Is that Corn Sweat?
I say Corn Sweat.
Okay. He's from Philly. He's from Philly, by the way, which I just learned. He's from by where I grew up. I thought he was a perfect Superman. I thought he balanced the gee whiz perfectly with the dude. When him and Lois have the conversation, I liked that we saw him get a little angry, but he's still a nice guy. He's not I don't know. Yeah. Brett, what did you think?
It was good. I don't really care. I don't care about DC. DC is a whole other. God, it's so confusing. I say that as an X-Men fan. DC is confusing. And so I've never been able to get into it. And all the DC movies of the past 10 years have been exhausting. And I honestly, I feel like this has brought up a lot of flashbacks of just the 2013 discourse around Man of Steel, where I'm I can't handle everyone having opinions on Superman again. Thankfully, at least on Blue Sky, it has been a uniform, almost like the initial rush of Force Awakens, where it was oh, we're all having fun. Oh my god! So I like that. I'm more of a James Gunn fan because I think the Guardians trilogy is my favorite Marvel anything. And you go back and listen to that Guardians 3 episode that we did, whereas a lot of crying in that. So I was expecting good things. I'm glad that he was able to pull it off. I am looking forward to more stuff. I mostly am just the amount of dead I am inside where I can't I went into this being God, please make me feel something. And Fantastic Four, you're up next. And the trailers are actually making me feel things, so I'm somewhat hopeful.
I do feel Fantastic Four, I'm looking forward to it as well, but I do feel it looks like it's very your vibe, Brett, because it has the retro vibe.
Yeah.
So I feel confident that you'll love it.
I'm seizing right now because I don't know where to weigh in, because I agree with everything you all are saying. I do have some feels on Fantastic Four that I am worried about. But wait, let me break down really quickly. I thought this movie was great. I thought it was amazing. Man of Steel, much like what you said, Ian, I think Man of Steel was the best out of the Snyder films out there, but it was not well received. I don't know why we have gaslit ourselves as a society, because people did not like Man of Steel, and they certainly did not like Batman versus Superman, and they did not like Justice League.
They didn't do well.
They didn't do well financially. So for me, I feel that this Superman is the best Superman film we have gotten. I like Superman Returns quite a bit, but I acknowledge that Superman Returns did not deliver what it was supposed to. And Christopher Reeve was my first crush. No one can ever top Christopher Reeve. I love him very much. When I see those movies, though, objectively, I'm just talking objectively, they're not a great script. I think in the history of superhero films, they have aged nicely and they did what they needed to do. But I think this is probably one of the best Superman films we have had to date.
Yes. To that point, and it's not my favorite, but I think this is one of the best superhero movies we've had in a very long time. And again, doesn't mean it's my favorite one, but I think this felt like such a comic book. And
Mm-hmm.
it like felt like the way I felt as a kid watching the animated series, reading the comic books. As a kid, I read DC because I read everything. I was always X-Men was my favorite, then Fantastic Four, then I just didn't care and read everything. Um so I like have a vague whatever of these comics, but I still never read Superman. I would read Justice League. Who was it? Grant Morrison that did the like reboot of the Justice League comic that was really
Oh
good.
yeah, with
Yeah,
Howard Porter.
okay, yeah, I loved that run. I always think of Superman saving Huntress as she's flying out into space, getting sucked out, and he has to like kiss her so she can breathe. I think of that a lot. Um, but yeah, I look forward to this universe. Um, because and it's gonna sound like I'm ragging on Marvel. Marvel's still my favorite. I think with a lot of Marvel, we've understandably had a lot of the jadedness show in that, right? And that's understandable. We're all kind of in that like jaded Thunderbolts world. So this felt like such an escape, and it felt really nice to have this escape. And it felt really nice to live in a world where, yeah, the leaders are still bad, but like this guy is not.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't care that the government. He doesn't care what they're doing. He's like, well, I need to solve Israel and the Israel and Palestine conflict real quick. Let me fly over and put Netanyahu on a cactus.
Yeah.
And he even explicitly says, like, I am not with the government. I wasn't acting. I was me, and I did it. And that's just the like way that made me feel was just so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta say, I want to talk about Rachel. How do you say her last name?
Brosnahan.
Okay.
Brosnahan, right?
How Brett said it.
Okay.
Bros.
I thought she was a great Lois Lane. I thought she was.
Yeah.
I keep saying this. She was like a combination of Margot Kidder's Lois with Dana Delaney's animated Lois, and then
I
Gail
said the
Weathers.
same thing. Dana Delaney.
Yes, I loved that Lois. That was my favorite Lois.
That's the best Lois that's ever been in any other media because she is a journalist.
Yes, and like the Gail Weathers aspect. I mean, like a PG. I was talking with Zach last night, and he was like, "Well, like a PG-13 Gail," and I was like, "Yeah, that's accurate because she can't curse as much." But she like it felt. I don't know if y'all remember in Scream 2, Gail Weathers is correct. Actually, in almost every Scream movie, Gail Weathers is the one that is correct from the start. No one fucking listens to her. And she, like, by the end is proven correct. And I felt we had that with Lois here, where she's like, when she interviews Clark as Superman in her apartment, I appreciated that she was like, yes, I love this man, but I'm going to go into journalism mode because I'm a journalist.
This, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, and also because I think she nailed it where she said, you believe in the best of everyone. I second guess everything. And that's what a good journalist does. You second guess everything. You make sure you're finding the truth and you're being objective. And that's something we just don't get enough of anymore, especially in an age of op-eds and social media. So I agree. I thought she was great. I think Dana Delaney is a perfect comp. I will also say, just as a little like sidebar, I did not like Amy Adams as Lois Lane, but I think the script for Lois Lane in Man of Steel, I think the actual scripting parts of it, they showed her as an actual journalist, and I appreciated that. Like she worked backwards. She was able to find Clark, Superman in that movie in a way that other Loises and other renditions, with the exception of Dana Delaney, have never been able to deliver.
The Terry Hatcher erasure.
Okay, fair.
Definitely.
Oh, wait, Brett. Clark Kent, Superman. Clark Kent, Superman. How galactically stupid was she? And she's still looking at the guy being like, what do you mean?
I've loved seeing clips. I watched that show. I don't remember much from it. I didn't realize that show was also like, I mean, when someone was like, someone quote tweeted the Dean Cain like article with like a video from Lois and Clark where they are talking about like, there's like a presidential candidate on TV who was like, I'm hoping we will make America great again. And Clark says again. And Lois says, yeah, they want to take us back to slavery. That's what's good to them. And it's like, holy shit, this like soap opera version of Batman and Superman and Lois Lane got it correct.
It's
And like,
almost like it's a grift that people run just to make money
yeah, yeah,
because they feel like they've been ostracized from like, oh, you won't respect me? Okay, they'll go over here where assholes respect me.
yep.
Yeah.
And like,
Oh,
I mean, I know we've like seen the posts, but it's true. Like, oh, did it become woke or are you just an asshole? It's like, well, no, you just all have become the villains in every
yeah.
fucking thing we watched and read and consumed as kids, and you're mad about it as an adult because you're stupid and you don't see it.
I okay, so we have the same issue on the X-Men side where people
Yes.
say normal like these things like what you just said, and it's like I would argue that X-Men 97 was not as in your face as the original X-Men animated series was. So like it's wild to me that people will pick apart the comic books X-Men 97 and be like, "Oh, this is so woke." I'm like, "Did you read a Scott Lobdell comic back
Yeah.
in the early Did you read did you watch the original animated series where Jubilee literally looks at the Friends of Humanity and says, "What did we do to you? Why do you hate us?" And Creed looks at her and says, "You were born."
Yep.
Like, come on.
Pretty like I remember my
Superman, the
friend
same thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but same
my
thing with Superman.
my friend Jude, I remember telling him about the like, oh no, they made it woke. And he like hadn't watched X-Men 97. He was like, did these people not watch? I watched that cartoon as a kid. Their villains were senators. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Cartoon from the 90s is more progressive than X-Men 97 and any other comic book we're getting right now. Watch that cartoon. The Leewalds have specifically said that they
On purpose.
purposely waited for Magneto because they wanted to establish in the first 2 episodes that the US government was the main villain of the series and that they were creating machines to hunt sentinels and the Mutant Registration Act.
Yep. And like Superman, it's funny that like the like, oh, Superman's woke. It's like, no, he's just a really good person.
Yeah,
And you just
it's really I really love I wish James Gunn could speak openly about it. Feels like he honestly just created the perfect trap for them, and it's just this. It's beautiful. Like he went and gave an interview where he said like people are going to be mad because the movie is kind or whatever, which then leads to when Fox puts his quote on the screen and they're screaming about it, and the quote is literally, "I tried to make a movie of kindness," and
like
they're screaming about it. It's just like
But
it's just he created the perfect circumstances for all of them to just hang themselves.
But Brett, can I interrupt you for 1 second though? Because this is what boils my blood. Because I get served all of the YouTube videos, everything about Superman's woke, everything. You watch the movie. The movie is pretty like vanilla. It is not giving.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not delivering
saying
a message. It is not in any. It is truly a kind person just trying to be kind in a very complicated world. That is all this movie
yeah.
is, which is something everyone could relate to.
And it
well,
only like
You know what I mean?
in a way like it's only Israel and Palestine or Russia and Ukraine if you are bringing it's such a mirror. It is such like, well, what do you get out of this? You know, like
well,
it and it's because there's still like enough plausible deniability. It's just one of those like if you watch this and get mad,
you're telling on yourself.
yeah, it's just like what why are you defending the dictator that is trying to annex a country against their will in order to like sell half of it to a tech bill? Like why are you mad about that?
I
Like why are you defending them? Oh, because you defend that in the real world. So you have to also defend Lex Luthor for some fucking reason and you're angry about that.
and like how embarrassing, right? And it's wild to me that the Israel versus Palestine, I mean, I think it's like incredibly over. Like when people
Yeah.
were saying, I was like, because sometimes online people will like take a grain of something and then run with it, and it's like, well, we're stretching and giving this person more credit than they like set out for. But this clearly was on purpose, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe that's not the thing conservatives are yelling about. And they're yelling about him being an immigrant. And it's like, the thing that I thought would piss you off, you have no media literacy, so you're not mad at, but then you're mad at.
But okay, so I had the same thing when I went to the X-Men 97 premiere and we saw the shower scene with Morph and Wolverine. I was like, oh, this is what everyone's going to be upset about. And then they were upset about a larger theme. You're like, what? You have no media literacy. Because I agree with you. Like, why are you upset about these broad strokes when there's obviously they're serving some sort of symbolism or metaphor here, and you're not even honing on?
And it's because we've decided like immigrants are that we're currently rounding people up, so we need to be angry about immigrants first
Yeah.
and foremost. And so, but it truly is like, have you guys in this latest Batman movie? They're killing his parents.
Yeah.
Wow, where did the respect for parents go? Like that is on it. Like it's fully just wild, just absolute nonsense. Like
And there was so much anger kind of going into it too, because it was based off of All Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley. And listen, we love
I
Grant
didn't even
Morrison,
realize it was based off a specific run.
but it's not. But it's not though. It is an entirely different movie in aesthetic only. But what Grant Morrison did, what they did with that series, was very interesting, and you can see some of those elements transplanted. I do think though, as someone who just loves All Star Superman, who loved this movie, I think the movie on the other side of the coin or spectrum is also getting hate from other people, being like, "This is a genre killer," blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I don't know. I don't know why people are so angry about this movie at the baseline. And I'm saying
Yeah.
this as someone who did. I'm trying to be objective as someone who's not trying to like come at this biasly. It is a good summer blockbuster movie. Have
yeah.
a popcorn, have a slushie. It is not. It is vanilla. It is not offensive to anyone. I will say
Shouldn't be.
Gunn was too Gunn in. I was expecting Gunn to be a little bit more Gunn than he
Yeah.
actually was.
You know, that's funny because a friend told me, "Oh, it was too James Gunn for me," and I was like, "Really? I felt it was not as James Gunn as."
It was almost like it was so not that the moments that were really were, you know.
And maybe that's what bothered. Like, because I was surprised. Like, I had a friend that said that, and he was like, "Yeah, it just it's like it doesn't have any emotional beats because James Gunn like jokes too much." And I'm like, I don't think so.
All he does is emotional beats.
Well,
Okay, sure.
I got that same feedback too. I'm like, I was waiting for it. I truly was waiting for like a Gunnism to like pop up, but like to epitomize. And I'm sorry, I'm fast forwarding to the end of the movie. But when he was here, like, show me videos of my parents, and it was him sitting down looking at his childhood video, I kind of cried.
I could not stop crying, and we left the theater, and I was still crying.
I think people who are criticizing gun-isms are people who don't understand gun-isms when gun-isms are terrible. And I'm looking at Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I like that movie quite a bit. But there was not, I will say, I think James Gunn did his best to wrangle it in.
Yes, because I love those Guardians movies. I know you do too, Brett. I love them. I love them. Drax never lands for me as a character. Drax feels like the dumb bro humor, but everything else works for me. And like, I don't know. Okay, there's one character I don't laugh at his jokes. I don't fucking care. But that's like been the only thing that where I'm like, yeah, but like I still like the character. He just doesn't. I don't think it's funny when he's like, I stand still and you can't see me. I'm like, this is stupid.
See,
But
I'm
like,
laughing. That's so funny.
but that, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, even that aside, I still love those movies and think they land. I don't know. Gunn like started in horror, and I feel like he understands the balance. A friend who probably does not want to be named said this to me, and I think I agree with her, that he feels like the successor to Joss Whedon because he is good at action, the fun, bombastic shit, but then also can have jokes and emotional beats all together in like the course of 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I do think, and like, but this one didn't sexually harass all of the fucking women that worked on his stuff. So I don't know. I could see that. I really could see him as like.
And James Gunn does not also have the kind of schoolyard humor that Whedon had in like Age of Ultron, where it's like, let's deliver the load, and like the Quinton jet is open. Like, you don't get any of that. And I will tell you, like, I even think there's a moment that I love so much where they kill the kaiju in the middle of Metropolis, and Superman's like, why did you kill it? We could have saved it. And I just thought that was such a wonderful beat It tells you coupled with him saving the squirrel, it shows
Yeah.
you how Superman respects life, and
Yes.
like Gunn had a grasp on the Superman character.
I
I think that the interesting thing, the most interesting thing about the movie to me was the Achilles heel that Lex finds of, you know, whatever Bradley Cooper said.
yeah.
The like the second half
I
of
was
his
like, is
parents'
that Bradley Cooper?
message. Isn't
I
it?
still I did not identify that as Bradley
Oh
Cooper.
yeah.
I'm still having I have to look at the screenshots. I'm still having trouble.
But like it's, which I find I could see where it's such an interesting, it's such an interesting wrinkle to add to the mythology of like, which also I don't know the mythology. I don't know if that's in the comics or anything
Yeah,
at
I was
all or
wondering that too. I
anything.
meant to look it up before this, but I
Um,
I
forgot.
I want to say, and someone can correct me. I want to say that's not a foreign concept. That the House of L was not as virtuous as it's
which
appeared to
which
be.
is kind of like when when Super Star Trek fans get angry at like the Starfleet shouldn't have a Black Ops thing because that goes, and me, I'm just like I don't care. I don't know, you know, or like Luke Skywalker would never be angry or like that kind of stuff. Like part of me is like was waiting for those kind of people to get angry about like how dare you sully the House of L, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that it's really interesting in this statement on nature and nurture in that
Yes.
like Superman, we're all a product of nature and nurture, like it isn't just one or the other. And so I think that like that pivot of him thinking that it was always part of his nature, that his parents like sent him here to do good because he is good, because it's just like what he is and what, and then realizing like no, he's really he's powerful and he's talented because of his
Yes.
parents, but he's a good person because of his
His parents. Yeah.
adoptive
yeah.
parents, or just because he's a good person. Like,
Yes.
and I think that is such a powerful statement. Like, we are not our parents' expectations of us. And also, I think it is because I've also seen some people be like really weird making the like immigrants have nefarious reasons for sending their kid over. It's like, well, we don't actually, I feel like that is reading too much into what the L's wanted, because like they
Yeah.
don't fucking know what it's like. If you we It's like if any kid, if I don't know, if your parents and you're moving to like a new smaller town and you're like, well, we couldn't get our kid into the gifted school, so you're going to the public school, you're going to mop the floor. Like that's just what I mean. That is kind of just like a parent thing.
But
I feel like
also, I feel like you could make the case for like, look, and then he turned out great. Like,
yeah.
But it's right there in the message that the Kents tell Clark, which is it's more telling about how you interpreted the message than what the
Yeah.
actual message was. And I think that I I don't know what to make of the L's sending that message. I mean, part of me thinks like, oh wait, the message was still distorted. Maybe there was something
Well, there is
more that
something like, you know, the Bible is up for interpretation. I
exactly.
really don't know. Like Lex Luthor got all of that, was also really funny where they were like, I got all the world's best linguists on this, and wasn't Mr. Terrific was like, yeah, I mean, like they wouldn't be wrong.
when Mr.
It's like,
Terrific was like,
okay.
"There's no way," I was like,
Well,
I'm sure
okay,
you,
so
could
that
translate things different
those
ways.
are examples of like lazy world building where I was just like, yeah. And a lot of them came through Mr. Terrific, because when Mr. Terrific was like, okay, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to try to shut down this portal. You go to the ship and it's intuitive. Don't worry. It's like there were little moments like that where it's like, oh, don't worry. The linguists are fine. Like, no,
"Yeah,"
I am going to worry. Actually, I am.
because like Trump would say, "I had all the best people look at it." Okay, well, I'm not going to believe that all the best
I
people
don't
looked
believe
at
your best people.
it.
I guess it is telling that like once when Luther's in his own little negative zone or whatever, he would tell, oh yeah, no, I totally doctored that. It's kind of one of those like when Luther's with his people or with his confidants, he has no reason to lie. So I
Yeah.
feel like okay, like honestly, like that to me is more telling than having Mr. Terrific be like, nope,
Yeah.
those
Yes.
people, or whoever said it. I'm pretty sure it was Mr.
I was waiting for them to be like, it was like, oh, I I forget the specific wording, but there was one word they said in that where I was like, well, I bet they're gonna say you can like that word can be interpreted different.
Which
Because
I
like,
think is like how anything
Yeah.
go. Like you don't like.
there are Spanish words I know where I'm like, I don't know the literal translation, but I know how to use them in a sentence, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
So I think that
Dayspring,
it
do you have
also
that too in Spanish?
it's not
Right?
character assassinations of the L's or even Kryptonians. It is just like, yeah, they didn't have a context for what they were sending Clark into.
Yeah.
But inversely, I also kind of like that they were just like, yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like, right, it's also important to be like, yeah, your parents aren't perfect. Like maybe sometimes they do have shitty things, or maybe
They
sometimes
have
they
parents be having shitty opinions.
I mean,
2025. That's
my
Wait,
dad still votes for Donald Trump, so he would also have shitty opinions.
I mean, wait, but do you think that Bradley Cooper knew what he was saying when he was being Kryptonian? Do you think Bradley
What?
Cooper was there in the audience being like, "What?"
No, this was my Marlon Brando role, damn it. My Russell
Exactly.
Crowe. Like I'm in the lineage here. No.
That would be one criticism, though, I have of the movie, though, was that there were certain half-baked plots and stuff that I wish would have been sourced a little bit. But this is a first movie in what is hopefully a kickoff to a larger cinematic universe, so I can wrangle it in a little bit.
Well, and because I had some people say that they didn't like. I saw critiques saying they didn't like it. Felt like we were starting and we were like in part two. I like that.
Thank
We
God.
we've
Thank
seen
fucking God.
right. Like I don't need especially these superheroes where we've seen their origins
Yeah.
more than like 5 times on
It
a
is.
screen.
It's like literally. So this is the thing that I was thinking about because again, I saw other people being like, "Don't skip origins," blah blah
Right,
blah.
yeah.
But it's like, so like when we make westerns or film noir or whatever, we don't like we don't like go, we don't need a setup of like what a cowboy is. Like
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are at a certain point genres and shit become so known in the popular culture
Yes.
that you don't have to keep going over these things anymore. And there's a very elite few. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, I would argue, are like maybe the only 3 that you could do this with.
Agreed.
And it's a new kind of thing. Like it is an interesting way to approach a story, being like, I actually don't have to do all of the heavy lifting that Bryan Singer had to do and Richard Donner had to do. Like, and I think that the movie is better for it
Yeah.
because we're within the first 15 minutes, we're having Lois and Superman, or Lois and Clark, are having a conversation that in any other context that you would not be able to have until movie 2
No,
or
yeah.
season
Agreed.
3 or whatever. But it's like, no, they're dating. She knows who he is. They are, already having these really hard talks about what is like morals and ethics and all that. Again, that is the kind of fascinating stuff you can't do
And it's
unless you.
intelligent. It's an intelligent. I'm sorry to
Yes,
say,
Yeah.
it's intelligent. And like again, where Lois is like, I'm a punk girl from wherever she's from. Like that is, you start realizing the characters more than going through a 15-minute Krypton is
Yes.
exploding scene, which we have seen and we understand. Like, sorry, Brett. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Yeah, no, I think that, yeah, and that's, and it's kind of like, whatever you assume happened before this, like you can picture Krypton
it's
blowing
fine.
up. You
Yeah.
can picture his childhood. You can picture him his first day at the planet. You can picture him meeting Jimmy Olsen for like, just it's a level of hand holding that I don't think we need. The same thing also, I remember like James Gunn was saying like, yeah, there's like 50 speaking roles in this movie and people were losing their mind. He was like, yeah, there was like that many in Oppenheimer as well. And I don't think people have it's this, there's a version of this movie from like 20 years ago where instead of having a Green Lantern, a Hawk Girl, and a Mr. Terrific, we just have awesome man and generic girl.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like they aren't, because that's too much to put. It's like, no, it isn't. And I appreciate that this movie, every character is a named character.
Yes.
And it is like, if you want to learn more, you can. It is not essential. And it is a weird brain worm that people have where they think that that character has a name. I should already know all of
Yes.
this. And it's like, no,
Yep.
you don't. It's fine.
And I hate to whatever, but bring it back to Marvel, but I've been seeing the critique over and over again, which I think is there's plenty to critique about Marvel in 2025, but I think the dumbest critique is I can't keep track of everything because you don't need to, and that's how comic books work.
Yeah.
Like that's called world building, and like yes, things happen off screen, but like the three of us have been reading comics since we were kids, right? How often would it be they do talk about something and there'd be the asterisk and it'd
Yeah.
say see issue
Well,
259 from 85 years
Do
ago?
your homework.
if
Yeah.
you're a homosexual in like 1982 and you hear, wait, there are gays on Dynasty now, like you're going to tune in. It's season 6 or whatever, and you can't watch it. You cannot see those first 100 episodes. This is a thing that like storytelling on the whole, as we experience it as humans, like maybe you're only hearing the second poem sung by Odysseus or whatever.
Right.
Like we used to be fine with this, and it's
Well,
this very recent streaming DVD thing that has, I think, broken a lot of brains and made it feel like homework.
right.
Yeah.
There is nothing like I have the analysis as a reader because in 1993, I had a little Fleer Ultra card, 1994, excuse me, that explained Madeline Pryor and then the Phoenix and then Jean Grey and 3 paragraphs to
Yeah.
unpack. I had to figure, you have to piece it all together.
Which
And
is fun.
there's this with comic books. This modern thing where it's like you need to explain everything for no, you have Wikipedia. That's
Yeah,
it.
now
You have
it's even
Wikipedia, you have
easier.
all these resources. You have videos online that will explain everything. You don't need to handhold the reader anymore.
And like also sometimes, okay, you don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
sometimes
It's like if you don't know what it is and you are confused, that is a storyteller problem. That's not homework for you to solve. That is like the screenwriter didn't do his job because they got you focused on something that wasn't the story. And I
yes.
think that we learn a lot about who Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Green Lantern are without actually learning anything about them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I thought the best because again, to your point earlier, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man are the character. We know these characters. I never wanted to be we're in their movie in modern day and there's no superheroes. Great, give me Hawkgirl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific as like side heroes because of course heroes already exist in this universe
Yeah.
and that's better. I think that's better and like expedited storytelling in a good way.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, heroes are look, here's the fucking Hall of Justice. They're like still setting up, but it's there. I think that's cool. I think because also that opens it up to like, yeah, there could be other heroes that are part of that group that just weren't around those few days. I mean, we see Supergirl at the end. She's not mentioned throughout the movie at all.
But I love Supergirl. I love the line, and I know this is from the comic, but like she goes to planets with a red sun so she could get drunk.
Oh, is that from the comics?
I think it's from Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I'm forgetting the name of the comic, but like it's I'm obsessed like that to me. And I know that didn't land with everyone. I'm not here to like debate that. It's just it was fun. It was cute.
Well, also explaining that Crypto is her dog.
Yes. Which once you like, she has those 2 lines, you kind of understand.
Yeah, okay.
All right, that's why the dog's so chaotic because she is, and that dog loves her and she loves that dog. But like,
I wasn't expecting that much Crypto in this movie, and I don't say that in a bad way.
you know,
but as soon as they broke into the Fortress of Solitude and that fucking engineer fucking suffocating, like, as soon as the emotional arc became you took Superman's dog, I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, rip him apart. And honestly, I feel like all of America would be like, he took your dog? Fuck this guy.
I loved he's like, where's the dog? Like he was like, and that dog was not a good dog. Like the dog was not well trained. When he needed to be pulled in, it's like jumping on him. But you love it.
His cousin's dog, but
yeah,
still,
yeah,
dog.
I loved that. I did not think we would see Crypto so much. I did not know that I would be so sold on him, but boy was I.
I loved him so much.
His whole little ear that was always like kind of up with a little flap.
So cute. By the way, though, speaking of not being sold, I didn't think I was going to be sold on David as much as I was. And a large part of this was because of the media press tour. James Gunn really did eclipse a lot of the press tour, and David didn't get to speak. And when he did, you didn't really see as much of him as you wanted to. And I went in thinking it was going to be a bad performance, and I was like blown away. He plays it. What do we say about some of our mutual friends, Ian? They're a golden retriever. That's who he is. He's a golden retriever in the best way possible.
Yes.
Watching him get like, I think again, putting that fight with him and Lois, or like the interview scene so early, does a really good job of showing that this Clark Kent gets angry and defensive about how kind he is.
Yes.
Which is a really like modern and interesting and layered and fun interpretation where he's still a Boy Scout and he isn't boring. And I think that it's also wrong to just equate Boy Scout and boring as existing.
Agreed.
But like I think that they did a really good job of establishing that.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was a bold choice too, to have that at the top. And I was a little like, oh, is this going to be like, do they fully break up and that's the movie and they break up? But I was glad it's like, they kind of like just keep going, right? It's like kind of like, she's like, I don't know, is this working? But then it's fine. They don't actually break up. It's like, yeah, she was being a journalist. And that was when I was like, I think I'm going to love this Lois Lane, because that reminded me of Gail Weathers. That reminded me of Dana Delaney's animated Lois, like where she's like, yeah, you're someone I love, but like, I take this very seriously. And I like you said, Dayspring, when she's like, but of course I'm going to question it. I'm not just going to assume everyone's correct and like leading with kindness, because that's the correct way to be.
Journals does. It's like, I don't know how to explain. Like when I was working at the Advocate, you question your sources, you question everything. But anyways.
It's almost like when she had to take him back to the farm, that was her going unknowingly going on a journalistic fact-finding mission.
Yeah.
And you see her when they go to his childhood bedroom, and she looks around and he's like, oh no, he did like that stupid band. He did. All of that nice guy stuff that in the back of my head I've been questioning, because also I'm bad at relationships and men are horrible.
Yes.
It's like to see like he's not lying.
Yeah.
Like and in a way it's like she can now like her love or whatever is more objective because she has proven it through facts of like he actually is who he says he is.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
I think that's like really correct. And I feel like that argument at the top, and then I mean, Dayspring, you mentioned this, him saving the squirrel really tells you who he like. I feel like those two scenes tell you who this Superman Clark Kent is, because, you know, I mean, and people had this critique, and I did too, where like, how is the entire Metropolis city population not dead after Batman versus Superman, right? Like, like those, and in Man of Steel, like everything collapsed. The whole town is like, the whole city is leveled. And I really liked that we draw attention to that, because Superman would be worried about the buildings getting smashed, because then people would die. So like, I like when he braces up behind to like push it so it doesn't fall.
The fire goes into that office and he like tells people, is everyone okay? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, I do feel DC overcorrects that a little bit though, because in Batman versus Superman, they're like, this is an abandoned, warehouse. And like, since Man of Steel, it was so contentious in Man of Steel, where it's like something like in Marvel, right? No one ever second guesses, but like in DC, we have to overcorrect it a little bit. When they were like in this movie, they're like, "Oh, don't worry, Metropolis is evacuating. Everyone is." I'm like, really?
I feel like at this point, though, they definitely have like evacuation protocols, and it's like, people are like, "Well, I'm going to meet you on Saturday, but hold on, because Friday usually there's an evacuation protocol." Like, it's just let's plan.
That's usually when the kaiju comes to town. So,
but by the way, though, to your point, Brett, though, the world building I thought was really good, because there was that scene with the kaiju in the background, and Superman's like, "Oh, don't worry, the Justice Gang has it taken care of," and they're talking about their problems. And the backdrop is a kaiju attacking the city. And I agree. That's normal everyday life.
Yeah, and Guy Gardner's like bat just hitting it on the head. I got a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's very.
That is Whedon-ish humor that we were discussing earlier.
Yeah,
good. When Whedon is good, that humor.
I think the one thing that I wanted more of was more Daily Planet, and I think.
Yes.
And I think we got a lot of Daily Planet. I think I really wanted more of Clark in the Daily Planet.
Yes.
Because really, after that first scene where he's written up the article about his fight with the Bavarian whatever hammer, and
Yeah,
Lois is like, "Oh, you interviewed Superman?" It's like we don't really see Clark back in the office. I
that's
think for the
true.
rest of the movie, but I love oh my god, the actor that plays Jimmy Olsen. I love him. Righteous Gemstones, and Tyler Gizon, Skylar Gizondo. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love him,
I did not know how to say that last name.
and why casting him as Jimmy Olsen is just like such a great casting. The the stuff with Eve Tessavacher or whatever is very unexpected.
I saw that coming from the moment she was taking a selfie and the battle was right behind her. I was like, that's going to be important later. I did not
And
think
I
it would be.
love that it was because it's a nice little twist of like, oh, she's dumb and she's just taking selfies all the time. And I do like that at the end it's like, well, she was also kind of intentionally taking selfies in front of like master plans and shit as
But that's sort of,
and I love that. I love that.
that sort of change of heart though is it's present in the original 70s Superman, in
Mhm.
Superman Returns with Parker Posey, and this, and I appreciated that quite a bit. There was if you guys know Grace Randolph, she did take a lot of issue with the way that Jimmy treated Eve in the
Oh,
movie.
really? Grace Randolph. Oh, wow, really? Took issue with something.
I was expecting it to be worse. I'm not saying, I'm not justifying
Yeah.
the mutant toes comment or anything like that, but I think Eve really did come to the surface as sort of like the MVP of the movie because she was the one taking photos. Jimmy was too stupid to realize that was actually the background, and that's where
Yeah.
Lois kind of like
And
came
Lois
in.
comes in.
Yeah,
And
so
also
I
again, I think
appreciated
that
that.
I think I think certain people look for things to get angry about because that's all they've built their entire career around. I don't like her, and I don't know why people actually like listen to her or watch
I
her stuff.
listen.
She's
We'll
not.
take this off because I do like Grace, but I'm not gonna. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna go
she's
on this right now. But
kind of a troll.
it's
Um,
it's
and,
interesting because I thought it was gonna be a little bit more nuanced. I mean, I was kind of surprised at some of the humor here and there, but I
the
don't think
way, yeah,
in
the
any way
most
it
weird,
eclipsed anything.
the most weird, the I think it was okay. So like the Jimmy Olsen thing, I think it was like kind of correct that he's just a ladies magnet because he kind of is, and I'm not even, Beck Bennett, like Steve Lombard or whatever, like that is like that's hot to me,
Yeah,
but I'm still like Jimmy Olsen also a weird magnetism there.
but
I get it.
I get it. I don't think it was rendered as good in the movie as it was in, say, let's say, All Star Superman, because he
Mm.
was dating like Lucy in that too, and he was sort of like Jimmy was like your cool hipster photographer working at, let's say, the New York Times for sake, or the Cut for sake of argument here, where he just knew everyone. He was about town. It did not come across that way for me here, but I understand the type that they're talking about.
Yeah. But it was also weird, like that when he went to like that seedy side of Metropolis, and it was like, wait, are they gonna say does he patronize sex workers, or are they just picking him up? They didn't know his name, I don't think. It was
Yeah, no,
just
I
like
don't
a
think they
weird,
did.
like, I can't believe the Superman movie is going here. Okay.
I
It's
I
like,
was a hard sell on that guy as like this like total like I feel like I was like a little not sold on Jimmy Olsen, but I didn't care. It didn't really affect me. But
Agreed.
I felt like I needed him one way or the other to be a little bit more like bigger of it because he didn't seem. I felt like if he would like had that many women, he would have been a little like a little cocky, a little like
well, he seems burdened by it. It honestly
yes.
seems like it's his Superman duty of like, I have all this great power and I didn't ask for
But
this.
he's also not a good photographer at all. We didn't see him being a photographer at all. He didn't even notice the selfies that his sometimes girlfriend is sending him. He's not even a good photographer. And then he transcribes for Lois so he can like upload the article. I wish he would have been like, oh wait, let me upload my photos that I took. You know what I mean? Like,
Wink to the camera.
like it could have been Kat doing. Like I would have loved Kat, who's like a gossip columnist, being like, "Oh, I have to translate for you, Lois." Well, thank God, because you can't spell, which is in canon that Lois
Oh
is
yeah,
a
yeah,
speller.
yeah.
Like it would have been. I would have appreciated more that dynamic than Jimmy sort of just being there.
I will say the part that icked me out was the super harem aspect of it, which again is one of those like makes sense 100% what would happen. I think it's just
What, like people saying that
like
Superman had a harem?
well, it's just like it's weird that the movie went there of like no, like the specific fear is Superman's going around and having sex with all of your women to give them super babies, which is one of those like almost feels like a Kevin Smith kind of like it feels like it's one of those like intentionally over the top like
Oh, see, I felt
you
like
know
that felt
Mark
very Fox.
Millery kind of thing, but
That
it's also very yeah
yeah,
100% that is where Fox News would take it.
Agreed.
absolutely. Like I feel like because Fox News would present it as he is raping your women and get like, and I feel like they didn't want to say that in a Superman movie, so
I
like
guess I'm just
instead,
shocked that they even went that far. Like they didn't just leave it as an inference. You know, like they actually just like they went there super hair. I also picturing like a 6-year-old being like, "Dad, what's a harem?"
I would love a scene. Can you imagine? But
Okay.
they did that with a lot of things. So here's a criticism. I think maybe sometimes Gunn went too much on something like the harem, with the monkeys being the trolls online. Because my thought was, you don't need to include that there. Even a line of him being like he reads what's on X and he's upset about it. Good people get smeared on X all the time, whether it's a bot or not. It's I don't know. I felt like it went too far sometimes in the world building or the stretch of the narrative when you could have cut it out and the movie would have been a bit more streamlined
you
without.
know, I felt the way about the monkeys. This is going to be a specific reference. X-Men Red, when they had Jean Grey come back, which I loved. That was like one of my
Again,
favorite X-Men runs
Tom
in a
Taylor
long.
represents.
Great.
Tom Taylor's great. He's the one that had that really good post where he's like, "What a headline!" and it was like about Superman. Um, in that run, which I love, I didn't love that it's like, oh no, the reason people are negative online is because of a villain.
Because of
When
Cassandra Nova.
it's like, well, that's a little
Cassandra
bit.
Nova psychically projected herself as Jean Grey to an audience, and like you went there with it. With where it's this like it's a pocket dimension with intelligent monkeys on Twitter creating hashtags. I just need a little bit more world building or hand holding if you want to go that route.
Because that was just that was just like clear. That was just like a joke. That was like clearly just like he didn't think it. Like he was just like I'm putting this in there. This is
You're
a
right.
hilarious idea to me, and it's like maybe it's kind of distracting. I don't know. But I mean, well, that entire sequence in his pocket dimension. God, I mean, it is really. I mean, it's kind of like how Andor happened, and they wrote that season of TV before a lot of this shit happened.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
could only guess, and so it's kind of like, oh, wild that as America's first concentration camps in a while, not our first, as that's in the news, we're now seeing Lex Luthor's own personal like I'm going to
Yeah.
disappear everyone that's a problem to me, and again like they couldn't know that was happening, but I guess actually we were always headed this way because we're a bad country. But still,
I thought about that too, Brett. I was like, they didn't write this after this. They like this had to have been written
there's a lot
before.
of CG. Like that took a while. That's like one
Yeah,
of the first things
Yeah,
you say
that
to the
did not happen overnight.
yeah.
CG people. Is like, I'm going to need you to go and start designing this.
So I think I might have told both of you this. I have this like theory based on nothing, and I kept thinking about this movie in particular and how Disney would have never ever let Marvel say some of the shit they did in this movie and how that helped the movie. And I really wish higher ups would start taking the correct lessons,
Mm-hmm.
but they never do, because I do feel like Captain America, I want to say
Brave New World.
I was
Still
like
haven't
red, white,
seen
and
it.
blue. Yes.
Wow.
Brave New World says absolutely nothing. That movie, I really, 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 really feel, and again, theory based on nothing, that they changed that movie so much because they anticipated Trump winning, and every company has like bowed to him in advance. Every state-funded university has bowed to him in advance. So I really think Disney, because originally the script was that Red Hulk was going to be the main villain, I think they were like, we'll piss off Trump if we have an old white guy who's president and he's a villain. So we can't do that.
And
And they
he's
like,
red. And he's a red
right.
Hulk.
Yeah,
He's
and
red.
like, I really, really think that's why and that movie was,
it's like, yes, you can.
it
piss
said
him off.
nothing.
I
Like,
I
What?
think Disney plays it too safe these days, and
They got too
that's why
successful. Which is-
why I think I really like the Thunderbolts. I
Yeah.
I haven't heard the episode yet.
I love Thunderbolts.
I love Thunderbolts. I thought I was talking about this yesterday with someone. Ironheart was great. How are we not talking about the ending of Ironheart? Like we have been waiting for that ending for like since WandaVision. No one's talking about it. I thought Superman was great. I think there's some hate in the superhero genre right now,
Yes.
and I think everyone just needs to chill and like
Yeah.
just enjoy some of these movies.
So
I
we saw Jurassic World Rebirth, which is fun.
I think
And
I don't know why people are labeling it I think it's the best
no,
of any
it's-
of the new
there's only
ones.
one good Jurassic Park movie, and I don't understand why people have any expectations, high or low, about
Agreed.
the other five. but
Agreed,
whatever.
Brad. Like I don't understand. I'm
It's
sorry.
like, after the
Dominion
first
was
one-
not good.
Yeah, after the
Dominion was
first
not
one,
good.
they're just monster movies.
Yeah.
But no, I was talking to my husband about how it feels like people are shitting on like superhero fatigue, blah blah blah. But it's kind of like, well, for the 10 years of Marvel's dominance, 11, like 2008 to 2020, Marvel being the biggest thing around, I think, pushed every other studio harder, because during that period Marvel was actually pushing hard. They were
Yeah.
doing new
Yeah, yeah.
things. They were having better performances, better scripts, better interconnectivity, way more ambitious. They were doing, it was basically showing like you can make a blockbuster movie that's also like a fucking fun, good movie. And in all, it felt like the North Star of Hollywood, of like
Yeah.
movie making.
Yeah.
And without Marvel, everything for the past like 5 years, all of big movies have felt completely aimless, rudderless. Like I don't know what we're doing, where we're going. It feels like nothing is pushing anything forward. It feels like it's just the same stuff. All franchises are tanking. All of Fast and Furious, your Jurassics, Transformers, everything. It isn't just Marvel. And so I don't know, like watching this, I really hope that this is if it's now DC's turn to do this. And I'll always point out that DC's taking a page from Marvel's fucking playbook. James Gunn is just Kevin Feige at Warner Brothers. That's all it is, guys.
But can I interject though? Because I was always frustrated with DC back when the MCU was gearing towards the post first Avenger movie. Why they didn't copy that formula? Like
Yeah.
DC wanted to jump right into it.
They wanted to go
Man of
Avengers
Steel.
first.
And they should have been a compliment to the genre right there, like a Pepsi to a Coke kind of situation, for lack of a better analogy. And I like the DC character. I grew up with the Tim Burton Batmans. I grew up with Superman, Christopher Reeve. I like DC in its own right, but DC was reacting too much to Marvel when they should have just shut up.
Yeah.
And yes, they had
Find
the
your own
formula. Follow that formula, but do your own thing, and they refuse to do it.
And this felt like a DC movie, which honestly also, like, to me, like tenets of Marvel are like small character, it's very character personality driven, whereas like DC to me has always been like the Superman movie, which is like, I'm reading a comic, there are 80 characters in it, it's big, there are aliens in multiple dimensions, okay, party. Like that to me has always been what the difference is. And I don't think that the Snyder version of the DC universe, they just tried to do like their takeaway was, let's do Marvel but angry, or let's do Marvel but gray and
I have
dark.
one friend, that loves the Snyder movies, and they don't like Marvel. And I never understand why. And I like the Snyder movies are the only thing that I will get mad about, because I think they are horrendous. Like I think they are slop, garbage, straight dude, gritty nonsense with no character building, nothing. And I said this to a friend recently. The friend was like, well, I like when it's character driven, And I was like, well, you might like Thunderbolts. And they were like, oh no, that movie sucked. And I was like, that is a character-driven movie. That's like
Character-driven.
That's all it is.
what that movie is.
Exclusively. Apparently
here's
to
the
its
thing, though.
detriment. I don't freaking know.
Ian, the thing about though, like the Snyder films, like if someone came to me and they like the Snyder films, that's great. But to retroactively gaslight us
To
because
say,
again, Man of Steel was not well received. People did not like Man of Steel at the time that he came out in 2013. Batman versus Superman was a reaction to Civil War, and no one liked it. It was only until Joss Whedon took over Justice League and
That
people were like,
suddenly-
there's a Snyder cut. There's a Snyder cut. We want that. That is when the Snyder verse became legendary and people loved it.
Yeah.
It did not exist prior to Joss Whedon's Justice League.
It's like the only things that were hits were Wonder Woman was a hit.
Yeah,
and
Wonder Woman
that-
was the only hit.
and that was not him.
Adam
Yeah.
Sass has said this so many times that like they accidentally made a good movie with that first Wonder Woman. Like
Yeah.
against their normal judgment, they happened to make a good movie.
Well, and again, they did it again with Birds of Prey, and then like almost did everything they could to sabotage their own good movie. That they
Which I don't understand. I don't even like that movie. I think that movie's also kind of a mess, but it's one of the better.
but it's so much fun. Like
Yeah,
it's such a
So we watched it. We watched it during lockdown when it came out, on streaming. And I remember thinking this is going to be garbage. It's going to be garbage, and it was a really good movie.
It was
I'm not going to say it was perfect by any
it
means,
was a
but
vibe. It was such
it was fun to
good,
watch.
like a vibe, and it was,
it was fun to watch.
and
And
like
of course, like there was all the headlines at the time with it, and it was a mess. It did not do well in the box office, though.
No, that
People
movie
were
didn't do well.
complaining that it was a pandemic, but it was about 2.5 weeks in when the pandemic hit. So its box
It
office.
opened in like February.
Yeah. So its box office was dismal, and it had those headlines, and then people want to defend it or saying it was a pandemic. No, it didn't get good word of mouth. However, when you watch it, it is it's a fun movie. It
Yeah.
is such a nuanced, weird situation.
even though I don't love that movie, it's definitely of that era one of the best DC movies. Like it's better than like Batman, any of the like Batman vs Superman, Justice League.
Wait, can I ask you both the question? Because this is something that I was thinking of when I was watching this movie. Our Pats would fit in so well with this version of Superman.
I'm
curious for your
confirmed.
thoughts.
I think it's gonna be a new Batman. I'm pretty.
I
sure.
think so.
That's
I
from
think they're
what
gonna be
I've heard.
separate.
They have been going back and forth on it.
Yeah.
It is not 100% decided, but I thought to myself, DC, talking about DC getting their act together. You have Robert, you have David. I think they could mesh well together.
I do agree.
You think they could mesh well together in this situation? I think casting a new Batman is just going to convolute everything.
I agree.
Don't do it.
No, I agree. And like, I don't love that movie either, to be honest. I think he's a good Batman. That movie's way too. I watched that movie in 2 parts because I was so bored.
I mean, I still haven't seen it. There's a lot I ain't seen.
Really?
I had my work from home job. I remember watching it one day and being like, whoa, I need something better. And I like turned it off. And then like a few days later, watched the last half of the movie.
I love that you watched it in the way that we watched Snyder's Justice League, though. Like, it came out in parts. You had to watch it. That's how
I
you
was just like, this is the interpretations of Batman we've been getting are so heterosexual, and like,
Oh yeah.
but I'm not someone who rewrites history. I think those Joel Schumacher movies are fucking garbage. I do not think.
No, they're not good.
No, I'm sorry. No, we are not. I'm leaving the Zoom right now. I will
They're not
defend Ben
good.
Robin.
They're not
Listen.
good.
Listen,
They're
they're
insane.
not. I'm not saying they're winning
I like
cinema
that.
history, but like, I'm sorry. Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl.
It's awful.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think I 100%. I love that they exist. I love that they
Yes.
existed. I
I
love.
agree.
I love anything that comes from. I love
like,
anything
right-
that comes from them.
Dayspring just said the sentence Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, which is like insane that ever happened. And sometimes
Yeah.
I do forget that happened.
Uma Thurman being like, my garden needs some tending. Shut the fuck up. Joel Schumacher God rest his soul. Listen, I get it.
It was ahead of its
This
time.
is
It was
where I'm
also behind
irrational.
its time. The 90s was not the right time for that.
I am irrational with this, so I'm not the right audience for it. But
See, like I just saw like on my birthday, I always rewatch like my core movies, and two of those are 89 Batman and 90 Ninja Turtles. And I honestly think that with age and time, 89 Batman has gotten campier and more
Mm.
ridiculous to me. Whereas the Ninja Turtles movie has just gotten darker and more like of a solid film, which is not the reputation either of those has, nor the trajectory that I
That first
expected
Ninja
it to
Turtles
take.
movie is
But like
weirdly like dark.
and it's so like
I haven't seen
good
it.
and well done. Like just such good character work from the Turtles and Casey Jones and April O'Neil is so good. But then you have like Jack Nicholson. My like queer identity is formed the way gay men feel about Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer. I feel about Jack Nicholson's Joker. Like I just love that performance so much. Uh,
I always think revisiting Batman Returns, which I do love that movie. Batman doesn't come into that movie till like 30 minutes in, I don't think. And like he is not the main character. Catwoman and Penguin are the main characters, which
Agreed.
is correct, which
yeah.
feels correct. And I think movies like that do a good job balancing the camp and like and Batman Forever I do like. I will say I do kind of like it. That's where I appreciate the camp, but then Batman and Robin is where it just explodes and I can't keep track. It's too much. But again, I
I
don't.
am never coming back on. I resign as co-host. I am
Well,
super done.
I also want to tell this story because it feels vaguely relevant. So like normally I never talk about Snyder because those fans like scare me.
Yep.
Because like I think I once tweeted one thing about not liking one of those movies, and oh boy, did everyone come out of the woodworks to like, oh well, you have no blah 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 like forever, and I was like, well, I'm never talking about them again. Now I feel freer to talk about them. I was on a podcast once where before we started, I mentioned, oh, I don't really like those movies. Those fans get really intense. They're pretty toxic. And the other woman who was guesting fucking lost her mind and yelled at me, held up her phone and was like, look, I've met Zack Snyder. How can his fans be toxic? What do you mean? Joss Whedon fans are toxic. And I was like, okay, I'm not mad
You're
that you
being
said
toxic.
that. Like, yeah.
Toxic.
And like I could not believe the rant she went on being toxic to tell me why they're not toxic, which is always the case. I will say that is always when you're like, this fandom is being toxic and people get mad, they always prove your point
Yeah.
every
Well,
fucking time
what does proving your point by showing you a selfie with Zack
because
Snyder?
he's nice. And it's
Great.
like,
Yeah, you
okay,
took a selfie with him at a premiere or you saw him at Chili's. Like, relax.
you saw
Like,
him at Chili's.
I'm sorry. I've had the similar. You know what always gets me about those tweets, and I think all three of us have been victims of this, where it's like sometimes you feel like no one listens to you online, even if you have a reach or some kind of platform, and then you say something innocent. You've said worse things online, but you say something innocent like, "Oh, I didn't like Batman versus Superman." All of a sudden, you have 200 DMs, death threats. They're hacking your Bank of America, your Gmail.
Please go now. Click on my articles, please.
Yeah, like
Can
That's what I actually
take this
need.
effort and put it towards the things that matter? Like I've said the story before about like I saw Chris Evans at a bar in Boston, took a photo of it. I have seen countless celebrities. I've said worse things online. No one cares, but taking a blurry photo of Chris Evans, all of a sudden,
fully innocuous.
fans come out. They hate you. It's awful, and it's like just chill, just chill.
Yeah.
It's Chili's. Just chill at Chili's.
Just
Like,
Chili's at Chili's.
Listen, and like I mean, like I wrote a whole article about Scream fans being toxic. I can exist in a fandom and be like, yeah, they're toxic. Like,
Yeah, there are Marvel fans.
yeah, like
Fans in general. It
Fans
brings out the
online.
best and the worst.
yes,
Anyway, but
know-
hopefully the worst is behind us with TC right now.
I know.
Great.
And I even had someone, I did like a meme dump of Superman memes, and I even had someone very normally be like, oh, I didn't love it that much. I never know why people want to comment to be like, the thing you're talking about that you're loving, why
Yeah.
I don't like it. I never understand that, but they were normal about it. They weren't like attacking me. They were just like, I feel like I'm the only person that did not think this movie was that great. And I was like, don't worry. I've talked to a few non-dum-dum incels who also didn't like the movie. You're not alone. I just disagree. And I was like, wow, that was a normal interaction.
Yeah, wow, yeah. It's not like
Holy crap.
But I think all three of us here, I love it when people challenge my opinion in something that's thoughtful
And
and not
so rarely
angry.
happens.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay. Like, and I said this, like, I posted about Superman on my X-Men page, and I was surprised at the reaction I got from a lot of people who did not like this movie. But I will tell you, 98% of it were thoughtful comments as to why not. And that's where you can have a discourse and agree to disagree.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Also, I know we're going to wrap up soon. I want to talk about fucking Hawkgirl killing Netanyahu because I could not believe they did that. Like,
oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
I was like,
I'm not Superman. Oh, great.
and I loved Dayspring. You'll probably agree. I love that it was like the one Latin character that she's like, nah, fuck you, and just like throws him because
Can I
that
just
also
tell you-
felt true, right?
I'm down here in Miami right now, and the amount of mamas here who just don't tolerate bullshit. Like, again, you're not worth my time, like that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, and as a fiery Cuban, I always appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah, and also like she's on a team with Guy Gardner. You know, she's on the edge all the time.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
like always
That
something
fucking-
here.
Well, by the way, wait, sidebar though, because I don't want to leave Hot Girl, but the bowl haircut was not I feel bad because I was one of those people who were like, oh, he looks like Uncle Foster. And I saw it and I was like, you know what?
It worked in
Nathan
the movie.
Fillion, he looks hot.
It was like
I
the
totally
only thing
hope
I
it does.
need, like, you don't need to explain what Krypton or anything is. You need to explain how and why he has that haircut. What is his motivation? Has he always had it? Did his mom like it? Like, I need, because that is wild. I get it's the comics. It looks more sane in the comics.
I
They made
agree.
it look crazier.
It's funny because that's why I always don't judge like stills because sometimes something works better in the movie. I don't really know why, but I don't know if you all remember when Scream 6 was coming out, there was a promo photo of Hayden Panettiere and the wig looked pretty rough. It like really did. But in the movie, it was fine. It wasn't like the best, but it was not nearly as bad as it looked in that one still photo where it was like, ooh, where'd they get that? But then within the movie, it was fine. So I always try to be like, let me see how it looks on the movie with that stuff.
I really also like that Mr. Terrific. Well, yeah, Mr. Terrific and Hot Girl, the two that we haven't really even gotten. I haven't really talked about much about Lex. Oh my God, there's so much to cover. It's a big, but no, I mean, I love Mr. Terrific. I knew who he was because I feel like you see a character that looks like that, you always remember. Oh, there's a character that looks like that has a T on their face and the words fair play on it. Like I'm always like, I don't know what's going on with that.
I remembered when they revamped him and gave him that cost. Like I think I was reading, I forget what it was.
The late 90s. I didn't know it was that recent until I went to Wikipedia.
Yeah, he had like a very traditional DC costume before that.
I like that they gave him the, kind of obligatory done-in-one action. I always loved me a done-in-one action shot. So like I like that they gave him that. Also Justice, because he's fucking Darwin.
Yeah.
From X-Men First Class. And I was like, yeah, finally! He gets his own superhero moment.
It was not what I cannot believe that they killed him. Even looking back on it, like through like 10 years later, he was the most powerful one of the new group. And was that supposed to be a statement to how powerful Shaw was? But he was more powerful than Shaw. You should have adapted.
It's just like, you can't say my mutant power is I don't die and then you
die.
That's like...
Yeah. And I like First Class a lot as a film.
Yeah.
And that... you can't defend that. That is a horrible choice.
The only character of color in a movie set in the 60s. Is like,
the one that dies. And by the way, again, in 2013, before some of the conversations that we're having today and representation. So,
yeah. And like, Brett, even you saying it out loud, you can't say the character's power is he can't die and then kill him feels like a joke, right?
Yeah.
That feels like it's in like a jokey moment of a superhero movie where it's like, oh, we said that, but no, it's not played as a joke. It's played.
Well, we thought the post-credit scene, though, in the time of the movie happening, oh, no, the post-credit is going to be that Darwin is alive. No.
I did see an interview. He said that he was always told the character would come back, and then they never did.
Well, This is better for him.
This is better. Yeah, this is better.
He killed it.
I thought all three of the other everyone in the cast was great, but all three of those additional heroes were so good and so good at not because I was thinking, how would this be different if it was Hal Jordan, if it was Hawkman, or if it was, any of these like big main versions of these heroes? And I think it was better and less distracting.
Isn't Kyle Chandler playing Hal Jordan?
Wait, really?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Chandler is so fucking hot.
Weird. But I think that worked really well, and like we didn't really we didn't get too much of them, but I thought we got just enough that we grasped who these characters were, which I liked. I never need a superhero world where we're like learning about. I want it to be that superheroes are already there.
And Guy Gardner is such a James Gunn character.
Yes.
Like I want like a spin-off HBO Max series.
Well,
Guy Gardner.
He's on Lanterns. I think.
Oh, is he on Lanterns? I didn't know
I
that.
just saw a headline that he's said the word "fuck" more in Lanterns than he ever has before.
Yep.
He's not a star of his, but I mean, I guess he's definitely going to be in it.
Well, I want that.
Yeah,
I want that.
He was perfect in that role, right? Like. You
and
want the asshole
kind of plucked about it because Nathan Fillion is just annoying in that like he became kind of like Neil Patrick Harris and Dr. Sing-Along blog, like kind of like let's put Nathan Fillion in literally everything. It's always like, and it's oh god, okay, got it. This was good for him. I liked him in this.
I agree. Want to talk about Lex Luthor real quick? Oh wait, before we move on, Brett, you mentioned it. I loved Mr. Terrific's fight scene where it's like swooping around and the way he protects Lois and is just like, all right, I gotta do this real quick, and just I thought that was the music, everything was great about that scene.
And that was a Gunnism in my opinion.
Yeah,
like the power effect and the music playing, well done.
Yeah.
And established Mr. Terrific as a unique power set. I loved it.
Kind of thing you haven't seen before.
A weird thing that I was thinking about a lot once the thing that the translation was revealed with the parents was Invincible. And I was thinking like, this almost feels like they're pulling a teeny bit from Invincible. But I was worried because often in Invincible, I am like, what do any of these heroes do but die? Because like the other heroes like add almost nothing and just like come in and you're worried they're going to die because usually half of them do die. And I was worried you were going to do that with these three. I was worried it was going to be like, no, we're going to see them get like totally flattened very quickly. But I was glad that like
taskmastered. Yeah.
Yeah. I was glad that, I mean, Dayspring, you mentioned that scene where he's talking with Lois and we see them and Superman knows, nah, they're good. They will defeat this stupid monster, and they do, and it's fine. I was glad that like
superheroes. That's what this felt like for the first time in a while, that we lived in a comic book world, and something like a kaiju in the background is not the end of the world. Like kind of like we're saying, like, oh, we want to do brunch on Sunday, but oh damn, if Metropolis gets swallowed up by a pocket dimension,
go to Keystone City,
yeah. Oh, we'll go to Keystone. We'll go to Gotham. Let's go to Gotham.
Oh God, I mean.
Real quick,
Gotham has such cheap brunch. Let's go there.
Real quick, Lex Luthor. I thought Nicholas Hoult. I love Nicholas Hoult. I keep seeing things. It's like there's no heterosexual explanation for how obsessed he was, and I kind of agree, but I kind of like it, and I like that almost. I say this about Faith and Buffy sometimes, where I do think the reason they read as sapphic is more because of Eliza Dushku than it is Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like I think Eliza Dushku brings a sexual chemistry to most of her scene partners because she's like so charming and so charismatic.
Yeah.
And I think almost here it was more on Lex's end, and to Superman, it's like, who is this annoying person? Like,
yeah. I liked him. It wasn't until like he lost his mind at the very end of the movie. Like I think that it was actually a really nice kind of crescendo, like building towards him really just like losing his mind about just like why he's doing all this. Which I thought was very cool.
It felt good watching him cry. Like I was like, yes, make the evil billionaire fucking cry. Like
I have never been attracted to Lex Luthor or Nicholas Hoult until this movie. And I will tell you, his outfit when he raided the Fortress of Solitude, I want that. Like I thought he was gorgeous. The only thing I would say is that, like, I thought he was a bit one note on things. I was expecting maybe like a third act, he was going to put on the suit and start beating Superman himself. It's fine. first movie in a larger
Yeah.
universe. We have time. He did a great job. Everyone did. I think the main three, Lois, Lex, and Superman, did a great job.
Yeah.
All did a great job.
And I love Crypto being. I love that Superman would not, because it tracks, right? Superman would not want to hit him because he's a human. Superman would be afraid he would kill him. But fucking the dog is gonna be like, let me throw this asshole around. And it felt like very satisfying to watch.
I think honestly maybe the most shocking moment in the movie though was the way that Lex would track any human who interacted with Superman, and the way he gets that food cart.
Yeah, the food cart guy. Yeah,
and just sits him down, and then a Russian roulette second time. Oh, I thought that would last long. I honestly was surprised that he just shot a civilian in the head in a PG-13. And again, makes sense. Gotta like that.
Again,
it was harrowing. It was a harrowing moment.
Bad person, bad sociopath. Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, there's something that's not. This character is bad, and he's going to be rendered as a bad person. It's
for something like living in the last 10 years. I think like before the last 10 years, I think that we as humans always wanted to kind of humanize our villains or like give them the Magneto thing. Like you wanted to I think in the last 10 years, we've really seen, no, there are just some people who are evil, who just whatever kind of like good or like positive thing, it ain't there for them, or they're not going to show it. They might have it. They don't want to show it. And
we were talking about this on Power of X. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Brett, but we were talking about this in the context of Cassandra Nova. Cassandra Nova is just a bad character. There's no humanity there. Like, it is okay to have a really bad character do awful things.
Yeah. Like Elon Musk, I don't think would ever, Jeff Bezos, I don't think these people would ever do any, Mark Zuckerberg, like these people have all just proven, even the ones like Mark Zuckerberg were like 15 years ago, he'd go either way. It's like, they just keep making decisions that are like, no,
and they would also cry if they failed at their fucking thing. So that's why it felt so good to see that. And I felt that was important because it is like, this is a fucking man-child who is just using his money to throw a tantrum. And like, man, I could not. Also, I fully thought the clone, I forget what they named him. I thought he was going to be Doomsday because he had the little glasses with the suit that Doomsday had when he first appears.
Was Doomsday a Superman clone at any point?
I don't know. I don't know.
He was Man of Steel or what?
I remember in the Death of Superman, it's just kind of like he's there and he's punching through something to get out. And
it may have been in some of the iterations.
Yeah.
I don't remember Batman versus Superman or Superman and Lois.
The only thing I remember is Lex's urine.
Yeah. But no, I thought the setup was that he will one day come back as Bizarro.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
Is what I assumed. But
also, I'm one of the comics. I forget that DC. I don't know if they always owned Image, but like merged their universes with Image and Wildstorm. I did not realize till after I saw the movie that the engineer is the engineer from The Authority, which is one of my all-time favorite comics. That
I didn't know that.
The first two trades. And I'm a little, because she's like the do-gooder, like smart person on the team. So I'm like, I wonder, is she not going to be in The Authority? Because
it's kind of like, because what did they say she was? Like a soldier that got a bunch of nanotech?
Yeah.
I feel like, she could still be a good person.
Well, they also wanted to do The Authority, right? We have the Midnight.
They're doing it.
Are they doing it? I can't keep track anymore of all the news.
I only know because I looked at what is happening here.
I hope they do. I hope this is a kickoff to sort of just end my feels. I hope this is.
Supergirl is filming right now.
I think it's done.
Supergirl has filmed.
Yeah.
Right. And then Clayface
it should be in the can.
Coming. Yeah.
And by the way, Jason Momoa as Lobo, I trust to see it.
Oh yeah.
Is Gunn directing that one too? No, Gunn's not directing Supergirl.
No. But I did read that he has it, so everything has to go through him. It's not like
he scrapped the project because the script wasn't good.
Yeah.
So what Brett said, he's the Kevin Feige now, except he acts as the director.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we are at the end.
Oh, it's the director of Cruella and I, Tanya is directing Supergirl.
I did not see
Okay.
Cruella, but I did love I, Tanya.
I love I, Tanya, and I like Cruella, so I'm here for it.
All right. Now that we are at the end, gentlemen, favorite scene? I guess I'll go first. I don't I like I've been trying to think of this. I think it's the very end, and I know that's like that feels like a cop out, but the like feeling of like hope and joy I felt when he lays down on the table, he is smiling and he's like, I'm gonna fucking cry thinking about it. And he's like, the robot's like, do you want us to play the video of your parents? And he's like, yes. And it's the Kents just like made me fucking cry so much. And I know it's like, the anniversary of my mom's death just passed, so like I'm in my like parent feels, but like I just and the Iggy Pop, well, it's Teddy Bears featuring Iggy Pop song that I love, Punk Rocker is playing, calling back to him saying he was also punk. Like it just felt I haven't felt so hopeful in a really long time, and this was like this just made me like I left the theater still crying at like how much that hit me. Yeah, I don't know. I loved it. I thought that was like a really, really nice ending. Dayspring?
First of all, that's beautiful, and I agree. I think intuitively, like I got so emotional seeing that, and I was kind of, and it was because I was confused in the moment. I was like, "You're gonna show Jarrell like," I got duped. I got duped. I was like, "Oh, you're gonna show them again," and then no, it was the Kents. But for another scene, can I tell you, I just enjoyed seeing Supergirl show up drunk and be like, "Oh, she goes to those planets so she can drink," and because I would be that hot mess.
I would say that's you showing up to a Slayerfest episode.
Exactly, which I just did. I just came from brunch and I'm going to brunch now again. But can I just tell you, I think it was just fun. I think it's a strong character. It's not, it's showing something that's matter of fact of a younger superhero, what they would be doing. And I thought it was fun. I'm in for the ride here. I want to give a little star to Lois, especially when she's wearing the purple shirt and her eyes sort of pop because it reminds me of Dana Delaney in the
Yeah.
Bruce Timm universe. I was just so happy. Mr. Terrific looked like he stepped out of Justice League Unlimited
Yeah, he really.
and Guy Gardner. So I said this on Power of X-Men. I will reiterate it here. I think if you love Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, that is the vibe you're going to get from this.
Yeah. A friend of mine texted me to say I really loved it. It reminded me of the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, and I was like, I fully can see that because it reminded me of Superman the animated series,
Yeah.
which led into that. Brett?
I really liked all of the Daily Planet staff in the Mr. Terrific mobile,
I did
and
like
I love, and I wish that my only the only frustration I have is that it didn't continue. Is when like Jimmy gets out the laptop and he's like, and Lois is like, dictate, or like, I'm gonna dictate to you, and I was just like, oh my god, like a journalist dictating a breaking story while piloting a crazy like superhero thing, and he's typing directly into the CMS as it should be. I will. You just control copy all save. It ain't gonna go nowhere. People stop. You ain't living on the edge. But like I loved that, and I wish that we had got to hear Lois narrate the entire article, like over an actual like escape from Metropolis scene. But yeah, I loved that, and also of course Lois interrogating Superman Clark, which is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. What grade do we give this movie, Dayspring?
I'm going to give it an A, a solid A.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a fun summer blockbuster at its base. I think it's a nice kickoff to DC. I think it did everything it needed to do. If there are any polarizing headlines out there, just people wanting to be angry and incite something, it is a fun movie. I'm going to give it an A.
Brett?
I'll give it a B, which is
Okay.
still good. B's are
Yeah.
fine. I think it was a lot of fun. I think there was a lot of movie. Like we still didn't even talk about, the entire, military conflict and.
Oh yeah,
and
the other I
all,
was going to mention the black hole sequence. I thought
all
the
the
black hole
black
was
hole
beautiful.
stuff. And like yeah, like so. There's just like my like a lot of movie, and also I still wanted still waiting for something to make me cry in a good way and not in a bad way like Thunderbolts did.
This is the only movie that has made me cry in a good way. I will, because my second favorite scene is Hawkgirl dropping fucking the Netanyahu. And I really liked that the Netanyahu character almost looked more like Trump. He looked like Trump with disheveled hair.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we're making this as heavy-handed as possible. I cried when the little kids were holding up the flag, and I
Yeah.
saw a thread about that where it was like someone was like, well, but made no sense, Superman didn't show up. And it's like, no, it's saying that Superman is a symbol of hope, and people do show up, and that is the point, that like
Yep.
they feel hope holding this symbol, and then the heroes do come, like, and that's like,
And also that Superman doesn't have to be everywhere. Like
Yes.
Superman can rely on people.
Yes.
Like we can do this ourselves, even if ourselves
Beautiful.
are, you know, an alien person.
and I think that's really
Like,
important. Brett, to your point, I had another friend who was like, well, I didn't like it that much, and was like, I think I'd give it a B. And I was like, well, I think that's still a good grade. Like, I give it an A+. I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it more than I thought I would. I'm not a big DC gal, but yeah, I loved it. Thank you both for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on all social media platforms at SlayerFestX98. You can find our video recordings on our YouTube channel, and you can listen to the audio on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you get a podcast, anywhere else you get your podcast. Give us a good rating and review, because it really helps get the podcast out there. You can support us on Patreon, where we're going through every season of Buffy as it turns 25, X-Men and Batman, the animated series, and I might even add some Superman, the animated series in there, just because after this movie. And if you want to follow me, I'm at ENX Carlos. Dayspring, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Power of X-Men. Our podcast, Power of X-Men, is on all podcast platforms. We are reviewing every single issue of Grant Morrison's new X-Men, so please take a listen. We will also be hosting a book reading with Lenore Zan at Books and Books at the end of the month on July 29th here in Miami. So if you're in the South Florida area, please come by, meet Lenore, and hear me drunk on stage asking her questions. And Lenore just being like, "Sugar, I got it." And just, but we will be doing that. We're doing that in conjunction with Books and Books and a local book club here. Our friend Daryl, who does Florida Bookshelf.
Oh, yes. Brett, where can everyone find you?
Now you can follow me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Brett White. You can also go to popheist.com and read literally anything. Please subscribe. It'd be really nice. We got Superman content. I got my my newspaper archive deep dive into the real Superman fighting Nazis and the Klan, which is true. That happened in the 40s. And also Superman is the hero we need for Speedo Summer, because the briefs are back, baby. So I wrote that last night.
I did like that the mom specifically is like, or wait, no, I just started watching My Adventures of Superman. I think that's where the mom's like, well, you need your underwear. All right, well, we will see you next time. Bye.